Now I tell you to create another calendar. And let's just look at that. So first I'm going to take this off so you have a blank screen. And then down here's a little thing that says add a calendar. And then you can do this: subscribe, create, browse from a URL, or import. So we're just going to say create. And so I'm going to call it EDFN 365. And we go through this same thing here. It's the right time zone. I tell it to create that calendar. But let me show you some of the other settings now that go with this. And I can come back, I believe. Here it is. So I go, let's just look at the settings. Gives it a different color. You can give it a description if you want. Invitations. Here's where what I'm asking you to do, I'm going to ask you to make it public so I can see it, but I'll show you some that I don't. So again, anybody you add here, just like on my other calendar, the biggest thing is it'll come into their calendar, to their current calendar. And you do that by adding people here. And the other thing I'll show you is the phone. The biggest value of a digital calendar, in my opinion, probably 60% of the value is that you see stuff on your phone and you have that with you. Now, why? I know people that don't use this, but let me just talk a little bit more about that in a second here. But you can do whatever you want here, these settings, stuff like that. So we're good here. So let's go back to our 365. So let me show you some of the calendars I created. Here's the one I'm quite proud of, and I call it the activity. So these are everything are just the family. When you see the settings on this, the same people get them, but not until they can to edit, but mostly so it comes into their phone, so they can keep track of that. And of course, it doesn't mean it automatically comes in their phone. They have to tell it to come in. And again, let me take you back why this mattered in the past. So I'm going to go by year, and I'm going to go back to when I had 2 kids playing sports here. And so now I'll go to the monthly view. And again, everything that the family need to keep track of here. And so I also created one for each of their games. So I'm going to bring in, I'll take off this one and tell you just Jackson's game. See, so that at a glance I could see that. And then also I had Alex's games. So first, quickly watch this, how quick I can see when they're playing on the same night. Okay. That's why you do that. And why don't you put them all on the same calendar? Anyone? Anyone? The reason we don't put them all on the same calendar, like all on the family activities calendar, is because we'll want to share them separately and look at them separately. But the big thing here is I can bring them in here. And now I put the family activities on top and I get a better picture. And here's my schedule now, my calendar. And I also have one for their other stuff besides the games, practices, appointments and stuff. They have their own for that, from mostly their school stuff. Okay. And so that's how we could do that. I'll show you a bunch of other stuff on it. But again, the real value of this is on your phone. And here's how I was going to make this point, and some of you will disagree, and that's good. If you have the chart on the wall at home to keep track of everybody's games, you never know unless you're standing by it. Your phone is always with you, and you can go ahead and back years. Number 2, if you keep a paper planner, like many of you do, you carry it around, same thing, it only goes a year. But another thing, it's not always with you. Your phone is always with you. And so you may want to put tests and assignments and stuff on this, and you can make it go on like we did, where it can repeat different times, stuff like that. And there's some other things about it. But you're going to create, I'm going to unclick some of these. I don't have anybody playing anymore. But you're going to create one, and you're going to give it a name, not EDFN 365. You're going to get a name that's meaningful to you, that you'll know what it is. And then it can be one of the kids' games, or it can be something that's meaningful and it repeats, or it's useful. And you don't have to go in perpetuity, just for the semester. Okay, now let me show you something else that's going to blow you away. And this is one problem I'm more proud of, and that is the birthdays on here. And what I did is took everybody's birthday and put them on here. So here's a nephew. And so I would put it on here that it's in 2010. And this allows me to, it's on the birthday calendar. But here's what I did. I said it needs to show up every year on his birthday. So I never have to go back. So I can go up or back 10 years and he's still on there. And reason I put the year, because I can't remember how old they are. All right. And I've got all the weddings and birthdays, even funerals. I've had to put a few divorces on here just so I can remember when it was. And so I get to look at these continuously when these are. And, I'm from a big family. I've got lots of nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters and sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws. And I try and keep track of all those. And I call it I think it'll take you a long time to develop that if you have a big family like I do. But here's this one. So you're going to create one and you're going to add me to it, add me to it so that I can see it. So I know that you learned how to do this, and that'll be your second. So you have a default one, and you'll have another one with a name on it that's meaningful to you, whether it's homework or, like I say, you separate these calendars so you don't have to share them all. Like the calendar, the birthday ones, nobody has that except my family. The activity ones, for the most part, nobody has that. But the game ones, I shared often with people I know when they were playing. I shared that often. So create another one in there that's meaningful.